All right, it's all good.
Good morning.
Morning.
As y'all know, my name's Vineyard, and I'm going to give you a little brief history of video gaming consoles that's been developed throughout from the 60s up until today. If I asked you the question of what is a brown box, did anybody tell me what that would be referring to in the video game consoles? Okay, the brown box was produced by Ralph Baer, which was the prototype which he built in 1966 for the first home-based gaming system, which became known as the Magnavox Odyssey. This is a picture of it here that I've got. I've never personally played one of these, but all the games on them I know pretty well, because there wasn't but 16 games is all they come out with. Anybody got an idea what the #1 game for the Magnavox Odyssey was?
Pinball.
Pong.
Pong. That's exactly right. How many people in here have ever played Pong? Got the biggest majority of them. So you all do know what it is and have seen the game before. But I've got for the ones who haven't, we've got a quick little video on it so that you all can see what it is. Pretty simple, not much to it. But if you did manipulate the controller, you could change the spin on your dot. Right before it hit the pad, if you moved it, you'd change it, it'd change the bounce on it. Sorry about that. Okay. Like I said, the Pong come out in '66, and it was the first, Magnavox did build the first video game console, but it did have some competition from Atari and Coleco. The second generation consoles were produced from 1976 to 1983. Can anybody tell me what this game system is?
Atari 2600.
2600. Several of us know that one very well also. You know what the most popular game that sold the most on the Atari 2600 was?
Flocker.
Space Invaders.
Yeah.
It really goes back. They tied it in with the arcade game, and that's what really put Atari over the top by tying the two together. Okay, the next gaming system, anybody got a guess on who made this one or what it might be?
ColecoVision.
You're close. The television come out. Their biggest selling game, anybody got a guess? Major League Baseball, believe it or not. That sold more for them than any other games that they had on the system. And for the third one, now what's that one? ColecoVision. Any idea what their #1 selling game was for the time? Donkey Kong. Okay, at the end of the 1983 year, all home gaming systems experienced a downturn. In other words, a crash, because there was so many different models and things out on the market, and because of the technology getting better and the games not improving upon themselves, a lot of people got scared away from them and just got out of the market altogether. But that brought us into the third generation. Sorry about that.
This is Odyssey, the new electronic game simulator. You attach Odyssey to your television set in seconds to create a closed-circuit electronic playground. Odyssey is tennis, roulette, football and hockey, analogic, and geography. Odyssey comes complete with 12 electronic games and educational experiences.
Just want to show you a little of that on the Odyssey of what they come out with. And then this is a short video for Intel.
Hills presents Intellivision, intelligent television by Mattel. More sophisticated than any video game that has come before, providing hours of entertainment for the entire family.
That's really high graphic definition.
Game displays available today. Find this system, plus a complete line of sports and video game cassettes at Hills, where our game is low prices.
That gives you an idea of how far we've come through the years from what it was to what we have today. Then we're going to get into some of the newer systems, which everyone knows. This is the third generation. I assume everybody can tell me what this one is.
NES.
Nintendo NES. Does anyone know what NES actually stands for?
Nintendo Entertainment System.
Exactly right. Okay, it became dominant as the first 16-bit console in the early 90s. And it was designed differently from the other gaming consoles. Nintendo wanted to establish its own product following the crash of 1983. They went with a ZIF, zero force insertion socket, but there was several complications with it. They had trouble with it tarnishing, and when kids would push their games in, they would push them too far and cause damage to the boards also. Can someone tell me what the #1 game for Nintendo was?
Super Mario.
Super Mario / Duck Hunt.
Mario Brothers for the first game console. At the same time that Nintendo came out, another company was on the scene.
Oh, yeah.
And in the first series, everyone knows the Sonic, but in the first series, Sega did not have that to rely on. Does anyone have an idea what their game was at that time?
Ninja Gaiden.
On the Sega, or on the first console of Sega, what their #1 selling game was. It's sort of an oddball, but supposedly it's 3D Sub-Rock. I've got a little video of it, because it threw me for a surprise too. I didn't. This is some of the actual screenplay of it. Show you the graphics in it. Just a quick preview of that. Let's move on to the fourth generation, which is from 1987 to 1995. Genesis really come about on this time. That's whenever they started their 16-bit video game consoles, and was the Sega Genesis name itself. Its contributions was exclusive, and one of its biggest games were
Mortal Kombat.
Sonic the Hedgehog. That's one that really put them over the top. They had 29 million units sold in the first year. Nintendo wasn't there to be outdone. So they come out with their own system, which was the Super Nintendo. At the same time, Sony is coming out with the PlayStation. Now the Super Nintendo went back where the PlayStation was coming in on the CDs, being your game pads. Genesis and the Super Nintendo both still relied on the cartridges. because at that time there was still quite a bit of expense and value in reading and writing to the CDs, but Sony was on the jump on it. They were out first. Okay, now we go on to the 5th generation of consoles. Now, these were some oddballs. I really had trouble whenever I was going over this, figuring these out. So I'm going to show you a picture of this one. And did anybody take a guess what that console might be?
Is it a Sega Saturn?
No, actually that is an Atari Jaguar. It was the last ditch effort that Atari made in order to stay in the home gaming market. After that, they were pretty much thrown to the side and wasn't able to maintain with the market, upgrade in the market.
Yeah.
Okay, by direction, I know some of you know what that one is, and that is the Nintendo N64, which was Nintendo's last game cartridge. After that, they went all straight to CDs also. Play this little video for you. I thought it was
Jingle bells, Santa smells, Christmas really stunk. I got nothing that I like, my gifts were all just junk. Boxes full of clothes, CDs no one knows. When I wanted something for my Nintendo 64, Zelda's great, Turok 2, South Park would be fine. How about Rogue Squadron? That game could be mine.
Make up for a lame Christmas. Get the hits you missed on N64.
Mom and Dad are so sad.
I thought that was a little different on those. We're going to get into the 6th generation, which we're getting more up to date with everything that we have today. Yes.
What generation did the Virtual Boy by Nintendo come from? Is
Okay,
that
the
covered?
Virtual Boy was a handheld, if I'm not mistaken.
It actually ruined my eyesight. It wasn't a handheld. It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
it was basically the first Oculus Rift.
I'm not exactly sure on that. I think that came out in the mid to late 90s. I really didn't go into those because I was wanting to stay with just the consoles, because if you get into the handheld and all the other different things, we could be talking in here for hours and never say nothing to get them all covered. Of course, this is the PlayStation 2, which was very popular in the early 2000s. At the time, they were competing against the Nintendo GameCube and the Microsoft Xbox. Okay, the Sony PlayStation was the first to release it with a DVD game-capable disc and 4.7 gigabytes of capacity. The player had built-in Ethernet capabilities in 2004 when they released the Slimline, and the ability to play DVDs and CDs eliminated the need for separate DVD players. That is a big selling point that they're all going to today, get everything into one, keep having wires and bundling everything. In 2001 is when Microsoft come out with the Xbox, and can anybody tell me what their biggest game has been and still is today?
Halo 2.
Halo.
Halo 2.
Man.
First-person shooter game.
It's good to compete 8,000 feet up and 8,000 miles apart together. It's good to try a front-side set of stalefish to improve your worldwide rank together. It's good to laugh at gravity together. And two, ready to eat for everyone. It's it's good to play together.
With the Xbox 360s, when Microsoft really started pushing the online play, and that is one of their biggest selling points, was the online play, to be able to play with people across the country and around the world. We're going to go into the 7th generation of the consoles, which includes your Xbox 360, and part of it includes the Kinect also, was brought out during this time. And then the PlayStation 3. And also at this time we had a new, or a revised edition come onto the scene, which was the Nintendo Wii. They come back out with the single mode console, gameplay. Graphics on it weren't very good, but there were several million units sold. And the first year at Christmas, they all sold out, and they remained in back supply on back order for the next 18 months. So they were really a big push in the Wii. After that, we get into what we have available on the market today. We've got the PlayStation 4, which was brought out in November of 2013. And then with it, Microsoft brought out their Xbox One in May of the same year of 2013. Both of these are on the market, they're highly susceptible. Microsoft had a policy with theirs that they weren't going to allow backgaming and different gameplays, but they've since come off of that a little bit, and you can still do some of it, but there is still a lot of argument over which gaming system is a better one of the two. A lot of it's just personal preference. It's when you like to play. One controller is about the same as the other one. So it really just boils down to your own personal opinions on it. Now I've got a comparison of the release video of the release for the all the 8th generation, the Xbox and the PlayStation. And I'm going to show you this one real quick. I said I was going to, but I may not. Lost it. Here we go. Probably.
Just a perfect day. Drink sangria in the park. And then later, if it gets dark, we go home. Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Oh, such a perfect day. You just keep me hanging on. You just keep me hanging on.
As you can see, that's an increase of this company.
Xbox on. This is an invitation to a new generation,
Go to Titanfall.
where your games and entertainment are no longer separated,
Go to Star Trek Into Darkness.
but together in one.
Xbox answer. Did you see that?
This is an invitation from the all-in-one Xbox One.
Okay, that's going to conclude my presentation for today. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
What generation would you say that, I didn't see it in the presentation, so I wanted to ask. The Sega CDI, the first console to actually use the disk image?
I'm not real positive on that one. I'm thinking that came out about 94 or 95, and that would put it in the third generation, but I'm not sure. I really don't know. Anything else? Thank you very much.